I've done pull and push exercises before, but I've never really analyzed them as thoroughly as I did here in Augmented Animator. I spent the better part of 3 weeks of the class working on this shot, and it's still not awesome, obviously, but I really have learned a ton. And like anything else, the more I do it, the better I'm going to get. So let's break down some of the things that you need to think about when you're trying to sell weight. So I start by recording some reference. We have this cabinet here in the office that really seriously must weigh over 200 pounds. It's like solid wood. It's got a bunch of drawers and such inside it. It's about 6 or 7 feet long. It is on casters, and so it's manageable to roll even on carpet, but it does take some oomph, to get it going. I'll just start off by mentioning sometimes I get a little loopy when I'm animating and offer my character a voice to speak here. That's all that is. It's just a little craziness on my part. So feel free to ignore that part. One thing that I really thought was interesting in starting out this exercise was the suggestion that I start by animating the box or this block. And I guess probably I'm a little too logical in my thinking sometimes, because I really wouldn't have probably ever thought to do that. So the advantage here is you're really setting how heavy and difficult this box is to move before you're doing anything else. The idea being that you would match your character's effort to the weight of the block and in turn create a realistic animation. So like we've talked about before, the hips are driving the action, right? So you really want to start by blocking in the motion of those hips once I've already gotten the block, roughly animated. So I want to think about where the hips are coming in terms of up and down and backwards and forwards. And right now, at this point, I am just concentrating on this side view. The front and back view I got to much later once the side view felt like it was working pretty well. So we talk about the hips. The hips then directly affect the spine. And the spine is what we can really use to show a change in shape. That C and the reverse C shape changes that we talk about all the time is what really shows us how difficult or easy something is to push or pull or lift or whatever. So you'll notice particularly in the side view, I'm using that C and reverse C quite a bit. And I'm doing that to show weight. So we start off, we're in kind of a reverse C shape here. And then we immediately come, as soon as he starts putting effort into that block, we get that C shape. And just to show, again, how heavy this block is, this first push wasn't enough to do any damage, right? So he comes back, again, reverse C, and this time puts even more effort behind it. And C shape, right? And finally, with all that effort, is able to get this block moving. And then once he's able to get it to a certain point where momentum is starting to kick in and he can raise the level of his hips, then I've got the reverse C shape. I think it was at this point that I felt pretty good on how the side view was starting to feel, and that's when I started to focus on our front and back view. And again, I'm using the reverse C and C shapes here to show shape change from that angle. And one of the things that's nice is once you can get that working, and if you watch that again, really made a conscious effort to separate those pieces of the spine, the lower, the middle, the upper, they don't feel like they're fused, right? They feel like they are independent pieces. They're linked together. So it's giving like a whip action or like a wagging of the tail action or something like that. But they don't feel fused. They're not all moving at the same time in the same direction. So what that does is that also helps out your side view, because it's kind of almost imperceptible unless you're really looking at it. You more feel it than you see it, but you're getting some depth on the side view. I'll play it again here, because it's really coming towards you and away from you as he's kind of rolling that spine. So again, I'll say not the perfect animation, but the purpose of this was it's a body mechanics exercise. And the purpose of an exercise is to learn. So I really do feel like I learned a lot about weight, about how to approach a shot like this, and it can only really help me as I move on. I'll just show a little teaser as to what I'm working on next. This ended up being the final shot for Augmented Animator, and this is where I got to kind of take everything that I've been working on in the exercise and apply it to an action sequence that hopefully I can put on my demo reel. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching.